Hey friends, how's it going? So in this video, I want to give you a short exercise to help you practice your pull-off technique, okay? So this is going to be a 4-measure sequence, and 3 of the 4 measures are going to involve a note played with our left pinky, which is pulled off, and it creates that second sound, right? So 1 pluck of the string, but 2 sounds of the note via us pulling off, right? So 1, 2, 1, 2, right? That 2 note I'm talking about is a sound made exclusively by our fretted finger pulling off the string. Now this is a tricky technique. I'm going to link to some videos explaining the absolute basics of the technique if it's new to you. So check out my song notes page on the website for that, right? But in this exercise, we're going to look at this 4-measure sequence, right? In the first, in the second, and in the 4th measure, we have this pull off going on with our left pinky. I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to teach you this exercise, and I'll start by showing you just the basic chord shapes. Then I'll show you basically how you're going to modify 3 of these 4 chord shapes with your left pinky to sort of add 1 note to the chord, which you're then going to pull off with your left pinky. So let's zoom on in, look at this exercise, and as always, you can get the notes in PDF form for this lesson through my website, playsongnotes.com. So with that said, let's zoom on in and do the thing. This is the finished product. It's going to look like this when we're all said and done, and I'll teach you how to do this. That's the idea. So if we were to look at these chords, we're going to have these 4 chords here. This is how I would teach this, is you take it 1 step at a time. First is understand that the first measure is an A minor shaped chord, okay? We're going to add our pinky in a second, but don't worry about that just yet, right? A minor for the first measure, let's transition to a C major for the second measure. Then the 3rd measure is going to be a G chord, okay? And I'm playing the G with my ring finger on the 6th string and my pinky on the 1st string. If you want to fret the 5th string on the 2nd fret, you can, but I actually don't ever play it, so you could just leave that unfretted and you would be fine. And the 4th measure will be a D chord, okay? So get comfortable with this and the counting too. You know, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? Get comfortable with those chord shapes and those chord transitions. And then next, let's look at how we're going to modify those chords. And that's going to look like this. And the idea here is we take that same sequence, but what we're going to do on the 3 count of the 1st, 2nd, and 4th measure is we're going to play the modified version of that chord, and on the 4 count, we're going to go back to the main chord. And the reason we're doing this is before we get to the, right, the full riff, I want you to be used to the chord shapes and the chord modifications that we're going to do. Okay, specifically the A minor. We're going to play the regular A minor on the 1 count, but on the 3 count, we're going to put our pinky down on the 2nd string, 3rd fret. I'm calling this an A minor sus4. It might just be called an A sus4, but the idea is, you know, A minor, pinky down, 3rd fret of the 2nd string, and we go back to the A minor. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then go to the C. 1, 2, and then you're going to put your pinky down on the same note as you did on the A minor. Then we'll go to a G, 2, 3, 4, then a D, 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? So you see what we're doing here is we're doing the same 4 chords I showed you before, but on the 1st, 2nd, and 4th measure, we're gonna have that modified chord only played on the 3 count, right? So again, it would sound like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Get a clean note with your pinky. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and you end it on the A minor just like where you started. Okay, now another way to visualize these chord shapes before we get to the actual picking riff is as follows, right? So the idea is that on the left here we have the modified version of each chord. For the C, we're going to have our pinky down on that 3rd fret of the 2nd string, and then we're going to sort of take our pinky off, and it's going to be that red note that's going to be the one making the sound, right? Practicing those clean sounds with your left pinky. Same for the A minor. Whoops. Right? So the 2nd string is the one that's going to have the clean sound. We really want a clean sound there. Same for the D. Right? And basically, That's where we're going to start. And now let's look at the sequence itself, and then we'll be able to sort of put the hammer on into practice. So first, let's just focus on the A minor chord, okay? So the idea here, now I'm playing this with my fingers, finger style. You can use a pick if you want to. Right? The idea is basically we're only going to be on the thinnest, the middle 4 strings, right? Right? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, okay? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So that hammer on is happening, I'm sorry, the pull off is happening on the 3 count and the 1 count, the 3 and, I'm sorry. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So the 3 and count is when the pull off second note is going to happen. Now, if you can't do the pull off right away, but you really want to learn this riff, you can do it without the pull off, right? Just pluck the second string twice. Okay? Now the C is a great natural follow-up to that A minor because it's the same exact strings we're going to be plucking. And all we're doing is moving our ring finger from this A minor shape position to this one for the C. Okay, so now let me talk about this pull-off technique in particular because it's a bit tricky here. Now, I'm by no means a master of this technique necessarily, but what we're going to do is, again, we want to pull the pinky off, and my advice would be when you're pulling it off, you could just do it straight, away from the guitar, but I find that the sound that makes isn't going to be as strong. So what I like to recommend is you basically want to dig into the note and almost move your pinky, keep it on the guitar, and move it into this first string. So it's sort of resting on the first string, it kills and deadens and mutes the string. Okay, it takes a lot of practice to do. Don't feel bad if you can't get it just right on the first try at all, right? Another downside I find is sometimes I'll accidentally make that thinnest string ring out, right? The trick to stopping that is pull off and rest your pinky on the string, but don't let it go, right? Because as long as you're on it and you're not letting it go, you're going to kill the sound. So, okay, so those are the first 2 measures. They're good to practice over and over again. Now for the third measure, we're going to be doing 1, 2, and 3, and 4. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and. Okay? 1, 2, and 3, 4, and. So 6th string, 3rd, 2nd, 1st string, and then 3rd string to 4th string, and that's going to be on the 4 and count, okay? So it's almost like we're switching to the D, which is the last note of the G measure, that open 4th string. It's almost like we're switching an 8th note early, okay? And we're going to hold that for a quarter note, and then we're going to go, okay? So I'm on the 4th measure here. So for the pull off here, we're going to be going from 3rd fret to 2nd fret on the high E string. The nice thing about this one is when you pull off, your pinky isn't going to necessarily run into any other strings. And again, I'm kind of pulling it down, right, towards the floor, towards the earth. Unless you're playing on monkey bars, hanging from your legs. So that's basically it for the last 2 measures. Okay, that timing can be a bit tricky, right? Take it slow. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. I'm messing up. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Once you have that done, you want to repeat the whole thing. Let's take it slow. So that's going to be it for this one. Again, it's just a quick little exercise, and this one actually came in by request. So the song is called Chillin' in the Backwoods, hence the name of this lesson, Backwoods Pull-Off Exercise. Okay, now I listened to this song, and immediately the intro riff that is heard in the intro, it just caught my ear. And I encourage everyone, send in your requests. I cannot get to most requests just by virtue of time. I have hundreds and hundreds on top of so many songs that I already have on my list to do. I can't get to them, but your best hope is to get the song stuck in my ear, because if I get it stuck in my ear, I might do a lesson for the whole song, or I might take part of the song and turn that into a lesson. And that's what I did for this request, is this riff was stuck in my ear, and I thought, this is a great little technique that I hope would be worthwhile to a lot of you folks watching. I know some of you have asked about hammer-ons and pull-offs. I'd like to do some more focused tutorial videos on the technique itself purely, but in the meantime, I hope this little exercise will be something that is helpful for you to have. So again, you can get the website, the PDF at my website, playsongnotes.com. It's lesson 304. Check that out, and I hope this was helpful for you. If you'd like more about hammer-ons or pull-offs, please let me know. And until next time, my friends, I'll see you around. This is David Potts. Bye-bye.